Hi, everybody. It's Georgia Rose, and I am in the remote soul space tonight. I'm so excited. We're actually redoing the studios at Strong Island Television. So I got booted out for maybe a week or two, but my best producer in the whole wide world, Bobby Lacera, LA, is making us this beautiful state-of-the-art space. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to say hello to everybody who's on tonight, and I am also going to share the show. So if you would just share the show if you're listening, I would love that. Got a great packed show tonight. I'm going to be talking to you guys about how to motivate yourself based on your astrology sign, which I think is really cool stuff. You know, sometimes we get stuck or we really don't know how to stay motivated. You know, we all get those blues and blahs, right? So based on our astrology sign, what will work for you? So we're going to talk about that. I'm going to give you a rundown on the energy a little bit tonight and for the next few days of the week so that you can use the astrology and the energy of astrology to guide you on your life path and for those goals that you have that you want to really crush, right? So let me see who's on. I don't know if anybody's on yet. I do have people on. Oh my goodness. Hi, Nancy, Janine, Elizabeth. Hey, everybody. Hi, Laureen. Hi, Elaine. Well, I'm going to talk fast because I know you all like it when I do cards. So we'll be doing that at the end of the show. So make sure you stay on. And for those of you who are just listening, you can still call into the show if you're not watching. I know some people watch, some people listen. So I'd love it if you guys could put in the comments your signs, because I'd love to be able to give you a little bit of idea of how to motivate yourself and stay motivated. Because I know 2023 is here. We've been now in the first month of the year, but we still have those resolutions and ideas that we came up with back on the first of the month, and we might want to really be crushing those. So if you can, you want to put your sign in the comments below. And also, if you have anything you want to talk about regarding the energy lately, let me know. I know the last couple of days maybe felt some energy shifts, right? We had a lot of planets moving around, as I had told you last week was going to happen. And we've got some big stuff happening this week too. Has anybody noticed how in the news things are coming out lately? I call it like a drip campaign almost. It's like we get a little bit of information and then a little more information and then a little more information. And it's like the information just keeps coming and we're not really sure what to make of it. Well, that's going to continue and actually intensify towards the end of this week into Friday and Saturday, and we'll talk about that. So let me check my comments, and I am taking live calls tonight. So if anybody wants to call in during the show, Bobby will put that number up for you guys, and you can call in at any time. So Laureen's a Taurus, Nancy's a Cancer. I've got Janine's a Capricorn. Oh, all different signs. So we'll get to that in a second. Hey, Mickey. How are you doing? Colleen's on. Got my whole crew on here. I love everybody in the Zencuda community. For those of you who are actually tuning in for the first time, what is the Zencuda Soul Space? Well, we are a community. We have a podcast every Monday night. We have a YouTube community. We've got a Facebook page, Zencuda Soul Space. And we've also got an Instagram page, Zencuda Official. And Zencuda, what is Zencuda? Well, Zencuda is actually peaceful warriors who are really into Zen, but still crushing their goals and ambitious AF. So what I'm going to say to you, because I can't say that word on the TV show, because we do go on public access Fridays at noon. So if you want to have lunch with Georgia Rose, Friday at noon's your day, 1:15 Cablevision. So peaceful warriors crushing it, right? So we're people who are, the Zencuda community is people who are all about love. We're all about maybe yoga or tarot or astrology, anything to do with life above the five senses. A lot of spiritual wisdom goes on in the soul space, but we're not so Zen that we're kind of laid back and not really taking charge of our life. We're Zencudas. We're guarding our Zen and peaceful as heck, but we're crushing our goals. And every week I give you a little inspiration, a little motivation. So the people in the soul space, and we all support each other. So that's what Zencuda is about. All right. We are Barracudas about our Zen. So want to talk a little bit about the astrology that's been coming in. So the reason why we're feeling energy shifts, and I wonder how many of you like wake up and things just feel a little different lately. Well, that's because we have a lot of planet shifting signs, and we've got a lot of energy that is starting new cycles and new phases. We've got a lot of Aquarian energy in, and we're moving away from that now. So things are going to soften up a little bit. For those of you who are Aquarians out there, you know you are very good at detaching, which sometimes can come in handy if you're on a negotiation or if you are really trying to accomplish something in your life and you don't want to get too emotional. But a lot of times our power is really in our emotions. So it's good that some of the planets are now coming out of Aquarius and going into some softer signs where now we can really be a little bit more in tune and more fully present. So if you were feeling very detached, especially last weekend with that new moon in Aquarius coming in, that's why we had a lot of Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy is so detached, as a matter of fact, little tip for you guys, that the CIA actually prefers to recruit Aquariuses, if you can believe that, because they're very good at detachment and they're very good at questioning, because they can stay very not just detached, but very penetrating. Like if you ever notice the Aquarian has what I call the death stare, they'll just look at you and you know exactly when they are done. That's an Aquarian. So CIA people are a lot of Aquarians. The CIA recruits Aquarians. So got that right here in the soul space. Little tidbit for you guys. So had a lot of Aquarian energy coming in. Now we're moving away from that. But we have a Jupiter, Juno. Juno is the planet of partnerships, and it's coming into Jupiter, which is the planet of expansion. So this week is a great week, and you may even find organically things happening where partnerships form. This is a week where people want to partner up and do things together, maybe a project, or they want to have a romantic partnership that's maybe been on the back burner for a little while, comes to the forefront. But this is really a week where you're going to see the energy of partnerships and creativity to do with partnerships really coming into play in one way or another. Also, we've got all the planets direct now. So when all the planets are direct, that means ready, set, go. So we've had a lot of start and stop energy. We're going to still have that for a little while, but now we're really gearing up for that final push before all the energy changes in March. Remember, we're starting to come in towards February. February is a short month, so we really don't have that much time left to really tighten up our game and tie up our loose ends and really get ready. So all the planets are direct. Mercury and Mars, who came out of retrograde to be direct, are still a little bit in adjustment. What does that mean? It means you may get a lot of requests, the universe requesting you to do things over again. Not as dramatically as we've had these last few months, but definitely you might find that energy of stop start a little bit still in play. It's not going to go away entirely yet, but I will tell you it really does ease up this week, and we can start to really see our projects. Right now, we're wrapping up the vision. It's almost like the thing that you've been thinking a lot about since the beginning of September, since around December 12th, those things, look back on your calendars, your emails, your texts, those things that were starting to formulate in your mind. Now this week and into the next, the vision really starts to complete. You're wrapping it up because you're getting ready to really implement it and do it. So this is really a week of, putting the plan in motion, getting ready to roll, all right? So you want to stop, drop, and roll, but you don't want to ignite until a little bit further down the road. But really make sure you have all the things you need. If there's a project or some kind of a improvement you're trying to do, make sure you have all of the things that you need to do it. It's almost like a recipe. If you were going to bake a cake, you'd make sure you had all the bread all the bread. You'd have all the butter and the milk and the eggs. This is that week, the week where you gather everything you need and start really planning, write your calendar out, execute the actual steps that you need to do the project, etc. Jupiter is now in an area of the sky where it's starting a new 4-year cycle. So this is the week it's going to be completing the last 4 years of the cycle. So again, ready to roll. This is about next step. This is also about getting clear. You're going to find Jupiter now where it is in the sky really gives us the ability to start getting clarity. I'm going to share my screen and show you guys the chart of the moment. Oh, I can't. Bobby, if you're in the booth, if you can make me a co-host so I can share. So Venus also this week, this is a big thing. Venus is moving into Pisces. Venus has been in Sagittarius and Capricorn and Aquarian energy for a really long time, which are very different than Pisces energy. Venus is the planet of love, right? So it's going to be in Pisces on Valentine's Day, which is a really good thing because the things that we love, the people we love, the things that really matter to us, we're going to see that they're going to start to really soften a little bit. And we're actually going to be able to more or less, somebody tell me in the chat if they can see this beautiful chart that we have. Yeah, I can see it on my monitor. Yeah, there you go. So when Venus, which is this sign right over, where is my Venus? Here's my Venus. Venus is right here. And in this chart, it hasn't quite gone into Pisces yet, but you can see it right here. It's in the last degrees of Aquarius. In another day or so, Venus is going to go into Pisces. Actually, on Thursday, Venus goes into Pisces. So when Venus goes into Pisces, the energy around us really softens. It's not as a harsh an energy. It's not as detached an energy. She's not in Capricorn, where she was really right near this little thing here that looks like a cross with a hoop. That's Saturn. Venus was right on Saturn the last few weeks. And it made things very detached and very limited in the areas of what we love, what we desire, the things we want and value in our life. So now that it's moving away from that, you're going to see that as it goes into Pisces, it becomes a much softer energy. Venus in Pisces also can be an energy of rose-colored glasses. We're very optimistic. So the high octave of that energy and the best use of it is you're going to be able to really be fully present and feel the people, the things that you really value in your life. So as we just said, it's a great time to step up the vision and start to put the plan in place. Well, this beautiful Venus in Pisces gives us the energy of really knowing what we want and being able to feel it more deeply, which is always great for motivation. So the planets are really working with us here. And then when you add to that Venus in Pisces is very optimistic energy, it really puts a really nice intention for success on our goals. The downside of the Venus energy in Pisces is sometimes we can have rose-colored glasses. The type of energy where we think we just got the best idea in the world, and then we wake up a couple of days later and realize, wow, that idea really wasn't that great. Or we start dating a new person and we think they are just, oh my God, they're the one. They're just the best thing since sliced bread. And then as Venus starts to move out of Pisces, we're like, oh my God, what did I ever see in this person? Or vice versa. We may meet someone and think they're shady. And then when Venus goes into the different sign, we start to see, no, maybe I was too judgmental on that person. So the energy will switch up based on what sign Venus is in. But while it's in Pisces, just be really discerning about, am I seeing too much, too good to be true? Or is this realistic? And when you put that beautiful vision on your goal, make sure that you do it with optimism and use the Venus and Pisces for that. So on Friday, we've also got a softer energy comes in with the North Node and Uranus, whereas for the last few years, they've kind of been, in a frictiony kind of a place, vying for the same place in the Zodiac. And now that begins to move away a little bit. And what that does is it also enhances the energy of Venus and Pisces to be more of a dreamy energy. For those of you Pisceans who are out there, you know that you love to dream. Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is, I want to feel the possibility of the impossible. It's very expansive in that way. But the downside of Pisces is we have to be careful we're not martyrs, because Pisces always want to do so much for mankind. So in this energy, it softens and it puts us more in like a dreamy kind of a state, but sometimes that can be really good for visualization. So use that to really go into your imagination and be able to truly visualize the goal and motivate yourself with that. Like bring it down to the tiniest detail, and you'll really be able to see it. This is also an energy of partnership, again, is amplified in this energy. It could be an energy of working together, building a new community, expanding the one you already have. It could be maybe a family member that comes to you with a certain project, or maybe you even work together better than you have for an elderly parent or a sick child or some challenge. So this is really a nice energy that comes in. Downside of all this energy is Uranus is going direct, okay? It did that on Sunday, and Uranus going direct means it's no longer retrograde and slowed down. It's moving quicker. So even though it's still moving relatively slow, it is moving a lot faster. And I think Friday, Saturday, we're going to feel an intensity start to happen where the energy feels speeded up. And I also think where Uranus is playing around with the planet Mercury. Mercury is in Capricorn. Mercury is communication. I really would not be surprised if Friday, Saturday into Sunday, we get another information dump, like in our personal lives and also, globally or whatever, especially where Mars is on the chart of Washington, D.C. I think you're going to see a lot of information come out, and we're going to be asked to choose some way, maybe choose the truth, maybe not know what we believe, but I do believe there'll be more information dumps coming. I can't say what the subject matter is, but I do believe there will have a lot more communication. And that intensity makes us shift and revise our strategy somehow. The information that comes into our personal lives regarding certain things that have been kind of lingering and hanging around, it makes us maybe strategize and have a different strategy. It could be reversals, but for a good way. If we use the energy wisely, we can really be creative, especially on Sunday. We have an energy that's very creative. Ideas are born in this energy on Sunday. It's a Mercury trine Uranus, so that means that communication comes in fast and hot. So if you're working on anything, just know that's the energy, and always be patient with yourself, because a lot of times as we work with projects or try to accomplish something new in our life, I'm in yoga teacher training now, and sometimes that can be a little bit challenging with the schedule. So the other thing I wanted to point out to you guys is that Taurus is up here, the sign of the bull. And so Uranus is in Taurus right here. And these are the north nodes of the moon. And that's the energy that it was really kind of like vying for attention with. And now it's moving away from that. So that's why things are going to soften. We also still have Mars in Gemini. It's not going to move for a while. When this planet Mars here goes into Cancer, things do really lighten up a bit. We've had this Mars Gemini energy for a really long time. And that happens to be in a trine here with some planets down here. What that means is it's a good energy, but it also amplifies the energy. So basically, in a nutshell, what does all this mean? It means you're going to be creative. You're going to be a little too optimistic about your creativity, but it's a great time to move your projects forward. Don't pull the trigger yet. Plan, plan, plan. Get all your supplies, your ducks in a row, all the things you need to do. And most of all, as I said last week, and I'm going to continue into this week, remove the blocks and the things that are holding you back. Whatever they are, you have to bravely go there. The universe is demanding that we make the changes we need to make so the universe can pull us into the future. When March comes, we have some really wild energy shifts. So you want to take full advantage of that in your careers, in your family relationships, in your personal relationships, romantically, any place that you feel you want to grow and expand more love and abundance in your life. March is the pull the trigger time. So get everything going and ducks in a row. So let me check my comments here and see what is going on. Okay, they all said we can see my chart. That's good. So Christine says, last week I asked if I should do a home project during Mercury retrograde, and you said yes, and I went ahead, and it has been, I hate to read this, been so successful. Thank you. Yes. So when any planet is retrograde, the energy of that planet just becomes more amplified. And the reason why retrogrades happen aren't to goof us up or glitch us. Retrogrades happen so that we actually go into the energy of that planet and they teach us more. So Mercury retrograde, for instance, is our minds, it's communication. And that's why when Mercury is retrograde, the energy is amplified. It wants us to pay attention to it. It wants us to check our schedules, check the text before you send it, read the post before you hit post. It wants us to be more methodical and fully present about our communications. When we don't do that, that's when Mercury retrograde things go wrong. We don't read the contract. We don't read the fine print. We end up buying the purple car. We go to pick something up and we're like, that's not what I ordered. We send a text and someone says, why did you say that to me? We're like, what are you talking about? Because we didn't read it. That's Mercury retrograde. The way to work with Mercury retrograde is to be more fully present. Check your plans twice, read the contract, read the fine print. That's what Mercury retrograde desires of us. And any planet that's retrograde desires of us to do whatever the archetype of the planet is more intensely. When Saturn's retrograde, it wants us to obey rules. It wants us to be our own authority. It wants us to limit our expansion so that we are more fully present in them instead of doing everything all at once and multitasking and on and on. So as planets retrograde this year, I'll let you guys know what the highest octave view system. A lot of people get kind of scared about retrogrades. We really shouldn't. I love retrogrades because they're a time to redo, reignite. They're retrospective. Think of that word, that prefix RE. When we're in a retrograde, basically, it just means you got to do everything that begins with a redo, restart, anything that's a okay? So I'm glad that went really well for you. But don't always take my advice. I'm not infallible. So if you have any questions, put them in the comments. If anybody wants to call, yeah, see, you picked the colors more carefully. Yeah, you worked with it and the universe was kind to you. Have to tell you guys, Universe is more loving and kind than we know. We have to trust it. It's just like a spouse. When you trust your spouse and they're worthy of that, it goes so great because then they trust you, right? Give and take. Universe is very trustworthy. Feel your feet on the ground. Go out and lay in the sand on the beach or the grass on the front lawn. The universe has you fully supported. It's never going to drop you. So put your trust in the universe, okay? So I'm going to go to the motivations for different sun signs, and then we'll do some cards. So don't have a clock. I got my little Fitbit on now, 7:24. Okay. So first, I'm going to do it by the regular Zodiac wheel. So first sign I want to talk about how to stay motivated is Aries. And the reason why I want to do this little thing about how to stay motivated for your sign is because I know with the energy in play right now, we all should really be working on goals. We all should really be working on where we want to be in our life, looking towards our future. And every night before we go to sleep, we should be envisioning our ideal life so that it becomes manifest when we're in dream state. Very important now, especially with Venus going into Pisces Thursday. That's all about the dream state. So if you're an Aries, the way to be motivated as an Aries is, Aries, you love challenge. And you know you love challenge, but you don't want to take the path of least resistance. Because if you're an Aries, challenge is what motivates you. If it's a little bit hard, you stay engaged. If it's easy, you lose interest. Aries have to be engaged with challenge. So make sure when you're setting your goals that you're making the task a little bit above the norm. You know, if everybody at the gym is doing 10 laps, do 12. Challenge yourself. That's how Aries stay motivated. Aries is the sign of the ram. It likes to have a challenge. It likes to, butt something with its head and make sure it can push it. It loves to be able to do what others can't. So get that confidence, that Arian confidence up and light that fire, that Aries passion, and give yourself a little more than the others. If you're taking a course of study or you're working with some kind of a teacher or mentor and they give a task to the whole class, give yourself a little better than that task and you will absolutely stay motivated. So whatever your instinct is to do, increase it. That's the way to stay motivated as an Aries. You like those challenges. Aries love to win. They love to lead. So if you are in an Aries mindset or your partner is an Aries, you want to make sure you give them some kind of a leadership role. You will have to fill in all the blanks and probably finish the picture because Aries don't like, they lose interest. They don't like to do the details. But Aries, that ram likes to charge. They like to be in charge of everything. And, they don't even look behind them to make sure you're coming with them, right? They're very singular. So if you are an Aries or have an Aries partner or someone in your life that's an Aries, you really want to make sure that you're keeping them engaged by allowing them to be the strongest and allowing them to go a little further. That's how Aries love the challenge. Taurus. And so if you have an Aries in your life, especially if you're in a new relationship with an Aries, you want to play hard to get and keep raising the bar. They love that. Aries loves the chase. Let me tell you, ladies, especially Aries men, they love the chase. They want to finally have the conquest. They love the hunt. They're very primal. So, so Taurus is stubborn. They're the bull, right? So if you're a Taurus, you have a stubborn streak. So you don't want to give up. So make sure that you keep tapping into that stubborn tenacity of yours and give yourself, Taurus, you can have a little bit longer range goals than the average person because you're going to be really good at that. You're going to stay until the hard work's complete. So if I was a Taurus, I would definitely put something physical in the game because Taurus is somebody that likes to have the physical outlet, but also the physical satisfaction. Taurus is very physical. Taurus is the warm blanket, the hot tea, the really good show, the beautiful music. Taurus likes creature comforts. So whatever you're trying to motivate yourself, Taurus, give yourself a reward that is one of those physical creature comforts, and also attach your motivations, your goal, your project to something physical. Even if it's one of those big whiteboards and you get to write or check off things, it's a physical movement. Taurus likes to do that. They like to have a physicality attached to their motivation. Taurus also likes to be supported. They like the warm, fuzzy blanket. They like to have their feet rubbed. They like to go for the pedicures. So they love massages. Taurus would do anything for a massage. So, maybe that could be a trigger for you, Taurus, if you're really trying to motivate yourself. say, okay, if I do all my tasks by the end of the week, I'm going to reward myself with a beautiful massage or reflexology foot rub or something like that. And also very important for Taurus to stay motivated, to surround themselves with someone or a group that will support them. Taurus likes the pat on the back. As I said, they like the foot rub, but they like the pat on the back. They like to know that someone is witnessing their success. So remember that. You might want to work with a group or work with others or get like, a motivation buddy, a gym buddy, if it's that kind of thing. Or if you're working in a business, you might want to get a buddy that spurs you on and work together with somebody. That's very, very motivational for Taurus. Gemini, you get distracted very easily, right, Geminis? So you've got to do a lot of visualization because Gemini has a wild imagination. I always say Geminis are the ones you want to sit next to at the party because they're going to talk your ear off and you'll never have a boring time. Geminis are very engaging and very exciting. They're very sparkly people. So they can be a little bit annoying because they never stay on a topic long, but they have a lot of energy and they sparkle. So what you want to do, Gemini, is bring in that beautiful imagination and try to remember past successes and what that felt like in order to motivate you. Because Gemini likes that communication. They like that visualization, getting to use their imagination. If I was a Gemini and I was really trying to keep myself motivated, I would use my shower time every day to visualize a time when I had a really successful thing happen. It could be something as a child or something more recent. And I would bring those feelings in to ground myself. And that's how I would stay motivated, to be focused on just the feeling of success and being able to keep my mind active in that. Also for Gemini, since they're very activity oriented, you may, again, the big whiteboard, the calendar, even getting to check something off on the fridge, or if it's a gym challenge, ringing the bell, anything like that is great for Gemini because it keeps them engaged. Geminis do not like to be alone. So Geminis also are great if you're going to try and motivate yourself. Try and be in a group, even if that's an online Facebook community where you're all trying to do the same thing. Motivational, that's really important for Gemini. Okay. If you're a Cancer, the way you're going to motivate yourself if you're Cancer and stay motivated is Cancers will not do anything unless they feel safe. So your Cancers are not the people going skydiving. They're just not unless they've checked the plane out 20,000 times or their grandmother's driving the plane or whatever. They're not going to do it. Cancers only come out of their box if it's safe. So you have to create a really beautiful environment, a nice workspace. People that are very, embracive have to be welcoming for a Cancer to be motivated. So if it's a work thing, make sure your workspace is decorated nicely, or you have some objects that really make you feel good and bring in the safety of home. If you are trying to do an emotional goal or a psychological goal, you want to get a support group or a therapist or someone who's really, really one-on-one with you and can really touch that heart space for you. Because I'll tell you right now, Cancers absolutely have to be in a safe zone. They perform best in a safe zone. You put them in their warm and cozy spot, make them feel loved, and they will go to the stars and back. So that's really how you have to work with if you're a Cancer. Cancers also don't do well if they're reprimanded or called out for an activity. So if you're a Cancer trying to stay motivated, don't go in any of those groups that are harsh, or a gym type group where it's very competitive. Cancers will not thrive in that kind of a group. Make sure whatever motivational thing you're trying to do is done in a safe environment. Leo, king of the jungle, right? Leo is the lion. So Leo wants to be the greatest. All right. Let's Leos strive for that. Leos are very easily embarrassed or wounded. If you wound a Leo, or a Leo gets wounded or embarrassed while trying to accomplish a goal, they will never come back on the field. So you've got to make sure, if you're a Leo, that you're in an environment where you do have some kind of a leadership role, even if it's like some kind of a competition where there are teams and you're the team leader, or that you get some kind of a small task in a big team, you have a breakout that you're in charge of. That's the way Leos stay motivated. Leos have to feel like they have some kind of a lead. They're a lion. They want to do that. They also want to have like subjects because they want to protect. That's a lion. The other thing about Leo and motivation is they need to be seen. If a Leo is not affirmed or recognized, it won't take very long for them to lose interest in the goal. So if you are a Leo, make sure that you're setting up some kind of a structure or some kind of a hierarchy where you are recognized in some way on a regular basis. You're seen, you get the spotlight at times in whatever, goal you're trying to do. For instance, I'll use the gym as an example, even though I'm not a gym person, I'm a yogi, but I'll use that just an example because it's very benign, very common. If you're really trying to lose weight, a Leo type of person, a Leo person would want to be motivated, maybe join the gym. But you know how sometimes they have little contests in the gym and you team up with 2 or 3 people and you get to be part of the contest. If a Leo is the team leader in that person, in that competition, they will really be motivated to do it. And if that gym also recognizes the team leaders or the goals or what you've accomplished in some way, whether it's on Facebook with your photo or something like that, that Leo will really, really get into it. That's the kind of thing for a Leo. They don't like to be bullied. They don't like to, anything like that. They have to be seen. They like the praise, the recognition, and rewards. And I would put myself on some kind of a program where whatever I'm trying to accomplish, I have incremental rewards to keep me really motivated if I was a Leo. And something they can brag about. Leo likes bragging rights. That's just how they are. And they're a very strong sign, so they need to have something strong in that regard. Virgos don't respond well to pressure. Virgos put a lot of pressure on themselves. So if you're a Virgo and you're trying to do something, do not put yourself in a situation where it's a team that's pressuring you or a mentor that's pressuring you or you have really strict goals. Virgos will fall away with that. They'll fall away from it. You won't want to do it. Virgos like to be self-motivated, and their biggest competitor is themselves. So you want to work like that. Virgo, attach something useful to your goal. Virgos always function when they feel they're helping people, they are in service. So put that into your goal plan. But the self-pressure is enough for Virgo, so I would not put any pressure on myself or too much accountability with an outside force if I was a Virgo. Libras hate to disappoint anybody, including themselves. So Libras work well in groups. Libras also love to be relied on. So Libra, if you can put yourself in a situation that is something where people are relying on you attached to your goal, you'll excel. For instance, everyone knows I'm a realtor in my earthbound life. So suppose I was the manager of a real estate office and I had Libran person who really wanted to do her goal. I would make sure that I told her, listen, the office has a goal too, and we need X amount of listings or X amount of sales to meet our goal. We're all relying on you and we're all relying on each other. So we got to get out there and meet our quota. The Libra person would love that. That would be very motivational for them because they like to be relied upon. So you see how you want to try and create and envision whatever personality you have based on your sign to motivate you. And you can use this to motivate partners, whether it's in business or romance also. So Librans have to be in that relied on category. And Libras also like to be liked. So Librans will not do well if they have to perform some kind of a task that is conflicting or causes conflict. They'll shy away from that. So make sure whatever you're motivating yourself to do or whatever your goal is, that you're very singular in the way you do it if you're a Libra. Because if it's something where you can create an enemy or create competition where people don't like you, Librans won't be happy. So make sure that Librans love to show they're competent. I happen to be a Libra. And as you can see, I like to be relied upon. I like to bring my best game. I'm very much someone who will never disappoint myself when I do. It's just such a horrible feeling. I don't cut myself a lot of slack. So usually it's good because when I use that to motivate myself, I'm on the top of the game. I'm very work ethic oriented for that reason. And, sometimes I've had to pull that back in my life. I've had times in my life when I was really a workaholic. So you can see how knowing my personality based on my sun sign helped me to understand how I work, how I roll, what makes me tick. So Scorpio, what makes you tick? Scorpions, you love control. I'll give you an example. My producer, Bobby's a Scorpion, and he is redoing the studio. And he'll ask my advice about aesthetics and everything, but I watch how he reacts to it. And I know not to give too much advice because it is his domain, it's his control, it's his studio. And I respect that because I know he's going to do a fabulous job. So Scorpions, they might ask your advice and you may give it, but don't overly give advice to Scorpios when they are, trying to be motivated. Scorpio is very self-motivating. They love control. They love power. They like to be the dominant one. So with a Scorpio, if you are a Scorpio trying to stay motivated, give yourself, how can I say this? Anchor it in the idea that the reward for you is you're going to have control over it. So you're building that space because it's going to give you a better control over your space. You are losing weight, finding a mate, redecorating a room, have a goal at work. If you're a Scorpio, it must be attached to the fact that it's worth it because it's going to give you more control in your life, more autonomy. Scorpios need to know the end game is giving them more power, and that's how they stay motivated. It has to be the goal, the project has to be related to that. This is going to put me in more control, make things easier for me, make me more powerful. And they like to work that way. So keep yourself motivated that way. If you're a Sagittarius, what makes you tick, Saggy? I'm a Sag rising, and I'll tell you right now what makes me tick. Freedom. I hate being restricted. Hate being restricted in any way. I have to have freedom. Give me freedom. Let me do what you ask me to do, and I will knock it out of the park. Stand over me while I'm doing it. I'll screw it up. So I just don't focus when I'm in restraint. I cannot be leashed. I don't like leashes. I got to do my thing. So that is what you have to be like if you're a Sagittarius and you're trying to motivate yourself. You have to work independently. You have to attain the goal because you think that it is giving you creative space. It's giving you that creative avenue that you love. Also, Sagittarius, the goal, if it's attached to a pleasure, is much more appealing for you. Sagittarius like the party. They like to have the free time. They like to laugh. They like to be outgoing. You know, they walk in the room changes. They're very charismatic. So Sagittarians, you want to make sure that you indulge yourself. There's a goal at the end. There's a reward at the end of the goal that's indulgent for you. Could be something as simple as I'm going to go eat a chocolate ice cream cone. But Sagittarius like to have that freedom to indulge and just be playful and expansive. And so if you're a Saggy, make sure that you're attaining your goals independently. Place rewards incrementally that give you some indulgence. And also for Sagittarius, as I'm just reading my notes, it can't, like, how can I put this? It's got to be fully enjoyed without anything hanging over their head. So Sagittariuses don't like sticky situations. They really don't. They want the truth. It's got to be truthful. Just tell me what you want. Tell me if you didn't like what I did. I'll change it. I'll fix it. I'll not do it again. Just tell me. I don't want to have an hour-long discussion about it. That's how Sagittarians are. So if you're trying to stay motivated and you're Saggy, you want to attach to your independence and attach it to something indulgent that you get as a reward on your way to your freedom, whatever this goal is for you. Capricorns, very self-motivating. Out of all signs in the Zodiac, Capricorns are the most self-motivated. Capricorn, if you have a Capricorn partner, they don't need you to tell them what to do. They already know. They already got the strategy. But Capricorns will not be motivated by anything that's the warm and fuzzy, the emotion of it. They are very pragmatic. They're very detached. They're very strategic. They want to climb the mountain and get to the top so they can look down on everyone else and they can know that they did it. And it's also usually got to be attached to something material. Capricorns like their things. They like luxury. They like the cars. They like the boats. They like the houses. That's what motivates them. They'll work their whole life to buy the big house. Capricorns are very much motivated by the status. They're the mountain goat. They like to climb. They need the challenge to be anchored in reward and security, especially. Capricorns like to feel secure. They don't like to throw things away. They like to have things that they feel give them their security that they have earned. So if you are a Capricorn, you're very self-motivating, but you're not going to be motivated by emotion. You're going to be motivated by something strategic and material. So just know that when you're setting your goals. Aquarius love original ideas. If it's quirky, if it's the purple dinosaur, they want to make it. They want to create it. They want to draw it. Aquariuses have to have something attached to their goal that's motivational in the sense of humanity for the world. It has to be something in a bigger construct, a macrocosm. The microcosm motivation is not going to be enough for an Aquarius. For instance, if you're a musician and you have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, you're going to want to make music for the masses. You're not going to sit home and write for yourself. You've got to play it for others. There has to be a little bit of a bigger picture Aquarians also can get very detached. They like to give to humanity and then go home alone, close the front door. So if you are an Aquarius, try and motivate yourself through the aid of others. If I do this, it helps the world. If I do this, it helps these people. You're very motivated by the well-being of others. So try and build that into your goal. And also alone time. If your goal is something to do with the tribe or something to do with the community, Aquarius, you've got to build in your alone time or you'll get burnt out. Pisces needs to help the other person. Pisces is just that warm, flowy energy that really likes to dream and do the impossible. You will definitely need positive reinforcement every step of the way. You can never give a Pisces more positive reinforcement than they can use. So if you are a Pisces, your energy has to be something where you're getting positive reinforcement, whether it's you're winning an award or you just have a spouse or a partner at the end of the day that's really in it with you and says, wow, that's really great. I'm glad you accomplished that. They're asking you about your goal to motivate you, etc. You've got to build that helping the other person kind of environment, being seen by the other person and appreciated. The only thing is with Pisces energy is you have to be really careful not to be the martyr. You'll give too much. So make sure that you build boundaries and limitations in your motivations. All right. So let me go to my, okay. Neck surgery. So Greg, neck surgery, if you have to have surgery, actually, now is not a bad time to start scheduling that because all the planets are direct. So I would have to look at your personal chart, but what I can say to you is that we're in a lot of forward and futuristic energy, and that off the top of my head would make me feel like it is a good time to go forward because you don't want to bring any pain or any restrictions into the new energy that we're going to have by the middle and end of March. So if you can do it, I would do it. And make sure that you're in the best health you can be before you go in. Make sure you choose your doctor with a lot of discernment and read the fine print on anything that you sign. Just going back and reading comments. So okay. Yeah, Gemini is definitely that right. And Karen Ann says she's a true Cancer. So I'm going to pull some cards for you guys because I know we got some time left. Oh, I didn't realize I was talking so much. I'm sorry. It was a big subject. I have my beautiful Aqua Aura tonight. This was given to me by a very special friend. And when you work with crystals, you can actually put your intentions in them. This is a family crystal that I use to go to a family reunion and put the energy of harmony in. And whenever I'm thinking about my family, I always use that crystal in my meditations. So my first card tonight is actually going to be for Greg because he had a question for me. And let's see what the cards say, Greg. Now, I'm not a doctor, so don't endorse this as medical information or anything. In New York State, they do make us say any kind of tarot or cards is for entertainment purposes only. But I'm going to pull a card for you. We'll see what your energy is like. I do feel like you are in pain, Greg, but I feel like it's more of a restrictive issue in some way, like you're not moving properly. Don't know if that's correct, but what it feels like to me. Okay. So I'm seeing a lot of angelic energy around you, Greg. If you can see this card, you can see that you are surrounded by angels, even though the being in this card is obviously female. It doesn't matter because we all are just beings of light and spirit. But look at the beautiful angelic energy coming out of her head. Absolutely gorgeous. So with that much light surrounding you, I'd say you're in good hands. You have a lot of protection. I'm going to pull a card for my grace cards and see what I get on those. All right. And it's all intention. If we go into something with fear and worry, we'll get fear and worry. If we go into something with a good intention, we'll have a good outcome. So the card I got, I think is really for everybody. It says connect. It's got this beautiful purple. It reminds me of some of the graphics that I use for Zenkuda with these beautiful purple energy. And it says, find your center. When we stay connected to our spiritual core, the best and most advantageous path unfolds before us. So what you want to do, Greg, before you go into any surgery is definitely, even if you're not a meditator, center yourself and just bring beautiful light, maybe violet light, which is the light that I work in, around you, and know that you are going to have the best outcome possible because the universe has you fully supported. On the tarot tonight for Greg, I'm going to pull one more card for you. Whoops. They're showing me to pull from the middle of the deck. My guides are telling me to do that. And this is the card. Now, this card, the Seven of Wands is a card of action. Whenever I get this card, I usually think of this as a yes card. But also, what it's showing is that you're overcoming a hurdle. You're in battle. You've overcome most of the battles, and there's new growth on this beautiful staff, which is new leaves, which means a new beginning. So I'd say yes, and especially if you feel you have to have that surgery, now is a good time astrologically to have things like that done, barring seeing your chart. Okay, I'm going to pull a card for Laureen because she was the one who just came into my mind. All right. Yeah, I feel like, Laureen, I feel like you need fresh energy around you. Yeah, if you can, freshen your space up, open the windows if we get a nice sunny day for a little while, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm picking 2 cards for you, Laureen. And it's so funny because I got wands again. Wands are going to come up a lot tonight because we've got a lot of action in the Zodiac, and wands are action. So we've got the 8 of Wands here. Again, this is the action card. This is the only card in the tarot that doesn't have people in it. So what I'm going to say to you that this means that you need to go inward, set your space. I feel like you need to freshen up the house, get rid of stale energy, make it your space. Maybe get rid of some of the things that are very nostalgic for you. But this means you. It means you need to move forward independently of other people. And then we've got the Star card, which is one of the luckiest cards in the deck. And that's an energy of union. It's an energy of the material and the spiritual coming together for your full potential. You can see this beautiful naked being is pouring water out onto the earth and taking more water in from the water, and there's stars all around her. This means the merging of your spiritual and your material world. So I think you need to cleanse the space in your house. You know, paint is a great way to do that, or just open the windows and let things in. You've got to work the inner to the outer. You know, a lot of times we reset our space and think it's going to change us. You're changing is what I feel, and you need to change the space to reflect that. All right. Janine, I'm going to pick a card for you. Good luck with your surgery, Greg. Everyone, please send some hearts or smiley faces up to Greg in the Zenkuda community. And also, you know, you guys can post on Facebook and Instagram in the Zenkuda community. Ask me questions. I'll answer them. Whatever spiritual questions that you really want. Let's send some hearts up to Greg while he goes to his surgery. We're sending you a lot of love, Greg. Everybody in the Zenkuda community. And if you have any special prayer requests, you can put them in the comments, and I will add you to my Reiki grid. All right. Or you can always message me. All right. So, Janine, I'm pulling a card for you. All right. Janine, I feel like this card, I brought one of the soul cards. This card can be this way or this way. But what I feel like it is, I'm just trying to pull it back. You see this little person here? I gotta pull it back out of light. This little person here, right? And then you got this big face, and then if I turn around, you got this other face. This kind of is representative to me of the sun and the moon, the 2 luminaries. And what the sun and the moon signify is they're both illuminaries. They both want to illuminate us. But the sun wants to give us illumination with wisdom. And the moon wants to illuminate the heart and our emotions. And I think that you need to unite them, unify them for full potential of what your goal is, because I feel like you're detached and separated. So you really want to make sure that you're igniting the heart and the head. I know that you went to a vision board workshop this weekend, and that's a perfect example of that. You look at those things visually and they give you an emotion, and your brain is looking at them and your brain is thinking about how can I get them, but the heart is getting attached to them. And that's the way you really want to be motivated. I feel like you need to unify, connect heart and head. All right. Next card I'm going to pull is for, let me see. Who am I going to do here? I'm going to do Colleen. Okay. Haven't pulled a card for Colleen in a while, and I think she was on the last couple of weeks and we didn't get to her. So I'm going to pull that card. All right. I got to watch my time because I don't have a clock in my home studio. Okay. Colleen, I feel like a situation that has been in the forefront and that every time I read you that I felt is now moving away. It has a period at the end of that storyline. I feel like new stories are coming in. I'm getting this card. It's a very motherly card. It's a very card of nostalgia, but it's also a card of abundance. And I feel very much when I go into your energy, Colleen, like you're done with the storyline that's been. You're done with that storyline. You're coming into a new storyline. So make sure, again, very important week for us to clear our spaces, but also that you are really looking forward to the future. Look forward to the future and with optimism and realism. I feel like you're going to begin a new storyline soon. And I just pulled the Queen of Cups, which is like the queen on the throne. If you have a mom that's passed, Colleen, I feel like she's really with you, protecting you and giving you some intuition. So take that with you, because I feel like whatever storyline was really playing out and playing out and playing out over these last several months, long while, is now ending and new is coming in. So that's really nice for you. I'm hiccuping as I say that. So that's like the change of energy, I think. Okay, who else am I going to pick? One more person I'm picking a card for. I've got like 2 minutes. Christina Otto Armstead. I'm going to pull for you because I think you might be a new listener. Guys, hop on over and subscribe to Zenkuda Soul Space, and also on YouTube. If you could subscribe to Zenkuda, because I do a lot of videos there. The show's always banked there. You can share the show on your pages or share it with friends. Really appreciate that. We want to get as many people as we can into this beautiful community of optimism. So this card is for Christina. So I pulled a soul card for you, Christina, and what I'm seeing in this is all this light coming down. This looks like a Rorschach card. All this light coming down into these two people, and you think it's like two people, more than one person, but it's really not. This is you in union with yourself. And what I'm seeing in this card is if there's a situation going on over a long period of time now, it's kind of dragging on a little bit for you with another person. The answer is not in them. The answer is to focus on self. And if you look at the two people in this card, it's really you. It's your outer and inner self. It's the ego and the soul. And what I feel your answer is whatever you're working on, whatever you're trying to accomplish, you need some quiet time. If you meditate, meditate. If you don't, go for a walk in the woods or a walk by the seashore or whatever. But you need to get back in touch with the self in order to reconcile this problem. The answer that you've been looking for in another is not there. The answer you've been looking for is in yourself. I really feel that. Okay, so this is the running out of time. I want to thank you all for coming in. I will be back here next Monday night at 7 o'clock. If you have any questions about how to stay motivated, or you want help with that, put something in the comments, comment on the page, Zenkuda Soul Space, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Zenkuda, and there'll be some live videos there as well as soon as we reach 1,000 subscribers. So definitely go over there. And if you need any spiritual wisdom, you want a reading, either astrology or a tarot reading or a mediumship reading, you can find me on zenkuda.com. Thank you so much, everybody. I love each and every one of you, and I'm so grateful you tuned in. Please share the show. Let's grow our community. We are peaceful warriors crushing it. Thanks so much. Good night, everybody.